Hi, welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, well, we're back working on the team associated B7 Race buggy that I've been slowly dialing in. This video is going to be a bit all over the place, and the reason for that is I lost my memory card for my camera. Then I borrowed another one out of a different camera. Then I formatted it so I could film another video that's coming soon, and I deleted all the footage. And then I bought a new card to replace it, and then the day after I found the original one. So what you're actually looking at, if you watched the last video, that was about a month ago, I think. And I try to do a video every 2 weeks because that's when I go racing, and I've made 2 visits to the track since then. So we've skipped ahead and we've kind of missed a video. So my plan is to try and squish the whole video into this one to give you a real update of what's going on. As quite a lot's changed, because as you probably watch the show, you know that I don't just do one change at a time. I like to throw a bucket load at them and then try and figure out whether that was good or bad. Don't do that. So to kind of catch up, I've made a big list. So the buggy as it stands now, well, if you watched the last video, I'll put a link up here, go check it out. If you've watched the first one and missed the second one, and then you come to this one, that's really not a way to do it. Go back and watch the other one first, and then come and watch this, as we have moved on quite a lot. So, in the last video, we were basically chasing the front, try to improve the front. I'm happy to report, oh yes, we've actually made the front. You're so sharp now, you can cut yourself. Ow! But hey, we're going a bit too far. Let's just go back to what I've actually done to improve the front to make it that sharp. So the first thing I've done, if we flip the car over, is the front arms. The lower arms, these are the carbon harder versions. Now, I did see online, I think it was Harris that said it, that he was doing his B7. If you don't know his videos, I'll put a link in the description. Really good pro racer, not an idiot like me, and does it a lot more serious. Anyway, I took his advice and I replaced these arms for the carbon ones, because the idea is they're a bit stiffer, so it stiffens up the front. Me personally, I like a very edgy car. I like a car that when I throw it into a corner, it will stick and it will turn, because sometimes I'll overdrive into a corner and it saves me instead of just washing out. I hate understeer. I just hate it. You just feel like you're losing so much time. I would rather have a twitchy car that I can try and drive to its twitchiness more than a car that's a bit numb. Sorry to interrupt your viewing pleasure. Hope you're enjoying it, by the way. Just to let you know, I am raffling a brand new in box Tamiya Avanti 2011. So if you would like to experience the beautiful iconic build of the Avanti, well, you can pick up a ticket for the price of a coffee. Yes, for a couple of dollars or a couple of pounds, you could be given the chance to win this beautiful iconic vintage buggy. Well, what are you waiting for? Get your ticket. Obviously, you set up your car completely how it suits you. I'm just giving you the ideas of what I'm doing, and then I'll show you the results, and that's kind of it. I'm no pro racer. I am a total noob, so I just kind of show you as it goes. Anyway, so I changed those over. So that was one improvement that I did. The next thing I did was I changed the caster blocks. So these caster blocks, I had on it originally the wheel speed plus 0 or plus 4 alloy ones, very sexy. So I've changed those out and I've changed to the carbon minus 2 millimeters. So my plan is I will go and get the wheel speed alloy ones in minus 2. But I got these just because I wanted to see if that actually helped, as a few people have commented that that's something to go to if you're driving on a very tight carpet track, which is what I do. But I do like the wheel speed stuff, so I think I'll treat myself to the alloy ones. Also a little bit stronger as well, and my driving is not the best, so I do tend to crash into stuff now and again. So having a nice strong front end really helps, because if you break something, you're out of the race straight away. Anyway, the front tyres, I'm now running Splinters yellow fronts, but without the inserts. In the last video I had the same tyres, but I had soft inserts in them and I removed them. Oh yes, definitely want to be running these with no inserts. That was a big step forward for sure. Also, I changed everything at the front here to the carbon composite ones, a little bit stronger, a little bit stiffer, so it's going to give me that little bit sharper edge, and it definitely has done that as well. That is now all those parts completely changed to the carbon composite versions. And I know what you're saying, and you wouldn't be the first. Have you got any of the original car left? It's a very good question. Yes, these rear arms are original. So change that, and obviously if I'm changing the whole front end to carbon, and that's exactly what I've done with the bridge on the back, I've changed to the carbon one again to be a little bit stronger. The rear tyres is a big change as well. It always surprises me just how much, when you change a set of tyres, be that front or rear, how much it changes the car. And then one thing I found as well is when you change your like front set of tyres to a different one, you then have to go back and try and dial in whether you've got more front end or less front end. Normally on a two-wheel buggy, for me personally, and a lot of people are chasing front end grip. But when you change the fronts, and we've definitely had some evolutions on the tyres recently, you get a lot more front, and then you have to kind of dial and balance out the car again. Anyway, so the fronts I've been very happy with. The tyres, definitely a big step forward. The rears, so Schumacher Racing have brought out these rear tyres, only just come out recently, and these are called the Azami, I guess. They're U6905s. So I wanted to try them with the Splinters that I had on the front. As normally I run the Cactus Yellows, so I tried these, and oh my god, they are very different. The first time I drove them, I didn't really like them. It's tons more grip, but it's a lot more fidgety. There's a lot more squishiness in the tyre. The tyres are very soft, so they move around on the rim a lot, which feels really weird, and at first I didn't like it. Yeah, I had tons of grip, but the car squirms a lot. So I went back to the Cactus Yellow, and it was like I had no rear grip at all. So what's happened is I've got really good front tyres that grip massively and rear tyres that grip massively. And I think the thing is the rear is hanging on. Now I have such a sharp front end, and it's squirming as well. But the overall grip level has gone up loads. Now if I put Cactus Yellows on the rear, it unbalances the car completely. So I was very unsure what to do. So I stuck with them, and I have to say my driving is, I'm getting used to driving them now, as it is a different way. There's a different feel about the car when I drive it. But my lap times, which we'll come to in a bit, is improving, even though the car does feel very different. Can I recommend them? Yes and no. You kind of got to try them on your own. They're very personal. These are running with inserts that are the medium, and I'm tempted to run them with the hard to see if that stops the squirminess. I don't know, but I haven't done that. That's something that will come in the future, and something I'm definitely going to try. So there's one big change left. Yes, I know I've been banging on for ages, and you've seen all these changes, and I promise we're just about to get to the point where I show you how it runs, and did I get any fruits from my labour. But the last change is this one. It's the -4mm short chassis for the B7. It finally arrived, so I fitted it. It's not as difficult as you think. It doesn't take that long. You just take the front off and the rear off, bolt them back on the new one, and you're pretty much ready to go. So I did the same thing on my B6.4, and it made a big difference at the track that I run at. So I'm hoping I'm going to see the same results again. After all those changes that I've made, I guess the proof is in the pudding. So I'm going to show you the race from 2 days ago, where I was in the B final and I was first away. So if you want to see how the car's going with all these modifications and changes, stay tuned. Right, so I'm first away in this one, so I need to keep it clean and get away as fast as possible and try not to get caught up with anybody else. Luckily, that's pretty much what happened. It was nice and clean, so I managed to get a little bit of air and take a little bit of the pressure off. But car number 2 is not that far off my speed, so if I make a single mistake, they'll be on me. So I need to keep it as clean as possible. And then I make a little bit of mistake there that drops me back a fraction and brings him a little closer. We're now catching up with the back marker, and I don't want to get tangled up in that, otherwise it could ruin the whole race. So we've settled down, we're into it, I'm under pressure, and then I tangle with a back marker which pushes me right back, and position 2 is now right on me, is only 1 turn behind. Then I also tangle with him again, but then I get past. But number 2 is right on me, so the pressure's building and I'm desperate not to make a mistake, because if I make a mistake he'll be past me, and then before you know it, 3rd and 4th will be on me as well. So the pressure's on, clean through there. Car is actually behaving itself really nicely. You can see it turns in nice and sharply, but he's right on me. The pressure is building, but he makes a little bit mistake off camera, which brings him back just a fraction. Get through that little S. Try not to get the nerves, but I go wide in that corner and he's still pressing on. He's right behind me and I can see him. He makes another little mistake. I don't think he's fast through that last little corner at the bottom that's off camera, but now I've managed to pull away just a fraction, so the heart rate comes down a little bit more. Now, one thing I found with my rear tyres, they do not like those cardboardy jumps. There's no grip on them. Get cleanly through that back marker, thankfully, and I'm still settling down. Just trying to breathe a little bit, got a little bit of space from position 2. The back marker kind of gets in the way a little bit for him, so that slows him down. I'm now a good 1 corner clear, but he's not falling back. I'm now on the back marker again, but I get through nice and cleanly. Now I've just got to keep the nerves under control. Nice and clean through that end corner. I realised that I can cut that corner much more, so as you watch through this race I'll start to get closer and closer and faster through that bottom left corner. Position 2 is now 2 corners, but I tangle with another back marker which drops me back. So position 2 is now a corner and a bit behind me, you can just see him there, but I'm keeping it clean. I haven't had a marshal intervention yet, which for me makes a big difference. So position 2 just got tangled up off camera there, so now I am a good few corners and I can breathe a little bit. I just need to calm down and just slowly do lap after lap after lap, not pushing flat out, just trying to keep it clean and just to get into a bit of a rhythm. We're now coming up on another back marker, so I don't want to mess this up. Little bit risky, looked good, but that was more luck than judgment. But as you can see now, I'm settling in and position 2 has dropped way back. So really the race is for me to lose, so I can just plow around taking my time. Now if you look at how the car's behaving, it looks very good. It looks very planted, very sharp and very smooth. How it feels when I'm driving it, it's not quite there. It's very twitchy. It does feel like it moves around a lot and I'm having to manage the car. It's not like I can just throw it into a corner and I know exactly what it's going to do. So there's still some work to be done, which I'll talk about a bit later on. Now I can highly recommend, if you get the chance, to record your race, because you're surprised how different it is in your head when you're driving, when you walk away after you've raced, versus playing it back and seeing how you're doing, as it is very different. So I can highly recommend that. Now we've only got a few more laps to go and hopefully it's in the bag unless I break the car, but being that I'm just slowly working my way round, it's going okay. I don't have to go flat out, which is a big part of it, because the minute I start really leaning on it, I make mistake after mistake after mistake. But I am getting used to the car and what it actually likes. This corner here, if I put too much power in, it will rotate too much. It will start to spin and rotate to clockwise. and I noticed that when I first went out, so I have to be very careful what I do with my trigger, and I think that's partly to do with the diff oil, and I think I'm too thin, which I'll talk about again later on. But there you go, 20 laps, and I will call that one of my best drives for a long time. So let's just take a few seconds to look at the times, and overall I'm pretty pleased with it. Reasonably consistent all the way around, a few little argy-bargies with some back markers, but I didn't need to be marshalled at any point, which saved me a load of time and pushed me down the road. Now if we look at the times that I set, and then we go and look at the A final, I'm reasonably happy. It actually means that if I was in the A final, it would have put me in the mix. So overall, it's a big step forward for me, and I'm really chuffed. So obviously the lap times don't lie, so I'm really chuffed to see that I've made some decent progress, but it's not perfect. I'm not really 100% dialed in. I'd say I'm about 85 to 90% there. There's still definitely work to be done, and the work that I'm thinking of doing, one thing I did notice when I was going over the jumps towards the back, it was slapping at the back again. So changing to the shorter chassis has adjusted how the car lands. So I'm thinking I need to stiffen up the rear just a fraction. So I'm going to up the oil in the rear just a little bit to give it a little bit more so it's not crashing out. That's the only thing. Even though when I had the longer wheelbase, it seemed to be okay. Bit of a strange one, but I'll up it just a little bit as a tweak. The other thing is the diff. I think because I've gone to the short chassis and changed these tyres, I think I need to go a little bit thicker in the oil. Definitely progress made, and as per normal, a car that ends up being a triggers broom, which is what I do, right? And in an upcoming video, also the going racing on a budget, my son with his LB3, I will do a whole video on his progress. He has been out running twice. I kind of messed up his car and made a mistake, and the minute he went out it broke because I set up the servo horn incorrectly and lost a part. So he kind of had to default back to my PR racing for the rest of that. But in the last outing, he got to spend a bit more time with the car, and it's coming along. There's definitely a progress to be made on this one for sure, as I had a bit of a drive of it as well, and I could see there's a few issues, but I'm not going to waste that. You just have to wait for the video. So Corbin, how are you finding it?
Good so far. It's quite fun.
How was your last race? Which is your best one so far?
Probably the second.
The second looked really clean, didn't it?
Yeah, the second one was really good.
Yeah. The video that comes out on this one with the bargain racers and what I'm going to do next to improve his car for him. So there's a lot more to come, and sorry it's a bit all over the place, but losing all that footage, well, there you go. But the good news is the car is getting faster and I'm slowly moving up the times. Thanks very much. See you on the next one. Bye bye.